We are back. We are back. We are back. Good morning, my friends. Good morning, believers. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. We are on the bottom of page 75. We are in this book, The ABCs of Success. And in this book, we catalog and walk through successes of people, situation, circumstance, biblically based. And today we're tapping into our opportunity. And we're going to read from the book. If you need a book, you can go to jomocousins.com. You can follow along with us, Jomo Prayer on YouTube, Jomo Prayer, and you can get these daily messages. You get an update and all that stuff. All right, so we are on page 75. It says this in this story. Now, by the way, this was a story about the peasant who the king had left a obstacle in the road, and the peasant didn't walk around the obstacle. The peasant moved the obstacle. And in the process of moving the obstacle, there was a reward. Many of the king's associates saw the obstacle, talked about the obstacle, but no one moved the obstacle. You will learn in life, if you can remove obstacles out of people's way, you will be promoted, you will be blessed, and you'll be increased. It's easy for people to identify the problem. It's very difficult for people to do something about the problem. What are you going to do about the problem? If you can be a problem solver, you will be welcomed in many rooms. If you are a problem solver, you will be welcomed in many rooms. The reason why David was elevated, because David was a problem solver. When you thought about it, Goliath was yelling and screaming about, come fight me, but David saw it as an opportunity. If you could be a problem solver, he got elevated. Notice after David said, I would fight him, guess where he ended up? In the king's palace. And before you know it, he got an opportunity to increase his life based on maximizing his moment, taking advantage of your opportunity. Opportunity comes by and you got to maximize. Okay, the bottom of page 75 is where I start reading. In this story, the peasant learned what many of us never understand. Every obstacle presents an opportunity to grow. Each time we move past an obstacle, we show God that we believe his word. Understand this, God already knows. I'm going to say it again. God already knows. So whatever has come into your life, God already knows about it. God's not surprised. God is not shocked. He's the Alpha. He's the Omega. He's the author and he's the finisher. So God is not shocked about your situation or circumstance that you may fall into today. So with that being said, if God already knows that he's allowed this in my life, do you believe God believes that I can get through it? If you have the faith of a mustard seed, the Bible says, speak to your mountain. Okay. Page 76. We have a choice to act on the opportunity or turn around in fear. Okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to believe? Or are you going to believe that this is too much for you? You have an opportunity. Listen, man, real talk. I was, some of you know that I was in a construction meeting and the number came back higher and they asked me what I want to do. We're going to move forward. There's no option. We walk by faith, not by sight. We don't know how everything will work out. Nobody does, but you walk by faith. What you have to make up in your mind is that I win. I don't care what comes my way. There's a way for me to win. I don't know how yet, but it's going to work out for my good. Romans 8:28 lets us know, and we know that all things are working together for good, for those who love God and those who are called according to his purpose, his plan, and his design. It's going to work out for my good. Lock it in your mind, in your spirit, in your heart. This is going to work out for my good. Why? Because I love God. And when I love God, I know it's going to work out for my good if I don't quit. Galatians chapter 6 says, do not get weary in well-doing, for in due season you shall reap what you've sown if you faint not. My friends, my brothers, my sisters, you got to fight and not faint. Don't allow your situation or the circumstance to discourage you. It's just an opportunity for God to move on your behalf. Glory to God. The time period given to make the choice is not always as long as we hope. We must prove that we are walking by faith and not sight. Hebrews 11:6 says this, for it is impossible to please God without faith. But those who come to God must first believe that he exists and believe that he is the rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Matthew 6:33 says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. All these things shall be added unto you. My friends, we walk by faith and not by sight. In this life, we'll all face obstacles, every one of us. None of us are exempt. None of us is going to skirt by. No, life is going to hit you. Now, what you do after it hits you is on you. It's critical that we don't turn our obstacles into mountains. Ralph Waldo Emerson said this: never lose an opportunity of seeing anything beautiful, for beauty is God's handwriting. There is a book called Who Moved My Cheese? In the book, the gist of it is money is always moving. And you have to find where it's flowing. When the brook dried up for Elijah, he moved. When your brook dries up, move. Don't sit there and complain that my brook dried up. You got to find out where the cheese is. I said this a while back. There's a winner in every economy. There's a winner in every economy. During the pandemic, you know who won? 3M won. They made masks. Clorox won. Why? Hand sanitizer, bleach, the disinfectant wipes. You know who won? Zoom. Who heard about Zoom before the pandemic? Everyone went virtual. So the key to building wealth is to identify who wins in specific economies. So for today, inflation is at an all-time high. Oh, I should say, it's the highest it's been in 40 years. More clarity. Interest rates going up. So, who is going to win when inflation is high and interest rates are going up? Now, as you process this, you will come to some categories, ideas that may benefit you. You have to find where the flow is going before it gets there for you to get wealth. That's the gist of it. It ain't that deep, but the question is, can you see it? Tom Peters: if a window of opportunity appears, don't pull down the shade. I like that. What would happen? What is that? It's the person who only sees the downside of it. Okay? I was out of town recently, and I was sitting at a table with some smart people, and I just listened. And then they asked my opinion, and then everyone started taking notes. I love the Lord. He makes me look smart. Well, here's what I said. Obviously, there's going to be some adjusting to the housing market for anyone who's listening. I said some people got adjustable rate mortgages. Adjustable rate mortgage where your rate is set for a specific period of time. 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 7 year, 10 year. And basically, it's set at a low number, and then it adjusts to market when the term is up. Well, some people got 2% mortgages. Some got 1 and change. Some got 3. Well, that rate will probably jump by 3 or 4 percentage points when it resets. What does that mean? Some people, they will not be able to afford their new mortgage because rates went up swiftly. The Federal Reserve, I know, Pastor, you going into business talk. I'm an economics major. That's my base. I know that. I'm just trying to connect the dot for opportunity. Okay. So with that being said, there'll be folks who cannot afford their new number. There'll be a lot of them. And with that, there will be some more inventory of homes on the market, meaning it will not necessarily bring the market number down. It just won't go up as precipitously. It won't go up as quickly. And if there is a glut of real estate, well, the price will come down. There'll be an opportunity for those who sat on the sidelines to make an investment. Okay. So there'll be winners there, but there'll be losers. But don't feel like there's always winners and there's always losers. It's just part of the system. So you could identify that as an opportunity if you are looking, or you might have stayed still and you're all good. But the key is to see the opportunity. All right. Matthew 17:20 reads, he answered, because of your little faith, your lack of trust and confidence in the power of God, for I assure you, most solemnly say to you, if you have living faith, the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there. And if it's God's will, it will move. And nothing will be impossible for you. So the question is, what are you saying? Do you believe? If you have. So that's a question mark. The faith of a mustard seed. That's not big seed. A mustard seed is one of the smaller seeds. So it's not saying you have big faith. It's saying you have some faith. Do you have some faith? Hebrews 11:1 says, for now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Faith moves God. Faith moves God. Every obstacle is an opportunity for God to move. Come on, write it down. Every obstacle is an opportunity for God to move on my behalf. So, no longer look at your situation from a negative perspective. Look at it that this is just an opportunity for God to show up and for God to show out. Faith moves. What faith moves are you making now? What decision have you made to step out and be bold in your faith in this season? My friends, my brothers, my sisters, if you want something different, you got to do something different. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. You have to make faith moves. Faith is a choice to believe in spite of what you see. For we walk by faith and not by sight. Believers, I love you. I pray this word help you. Remember, stop looking at obstacles and start looking at opportunities. I love you. God bless. Bye-bye, everybody.